Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up.
Good Monday morning. This is Run It Back, FanDuel TV, joined by my great friends, Chandler Parsons and Lou Williams here. And Charania joining us from his lair out in Chicago as he gets ready for the trade. Are you trade deadline prepping already, Shams?
I mean, 10 days away, so we're ready. We're definitely getting ready right now.
Gotta get all the food and the drinks, and like you're just stuck in that house for a while until then. But the good news is, up until then, we've got things to talk about. And this last week was just a scoring juggernaut, if you will. I'm gonna throw this full screen up. Well, I'm not. Somebody in the control room is. But I just want to point it out. We had 8 players with 40 or more points, 4 of them with 60 or more, and 2 dudes had over 70. Okay. Which one of these was the most impressive? Good luck.
See, I think it was Joel Embiid. Me and Lou are going to argue on this one. I think, first of all, this was a statement game. It was against Wembanyama, national TV. He wanted to prove that he's going to dominate him from start to finish, and it was efficient. He got to the free throw line. I don't think he took his first 3 till the second half. I think he was just a sheer Shaq performance. They won the game. It was actually closer than I thought it would be. I think they only ended up
Thank you. It was only 10 points.
We're happy with the 10-point loss there. But this was dominant. Career high in rebounds with 18. So to me, this was a tone setter. This was an example. He said, all right, Wemby, you're going to be the future of the NBA, but right now it's mine.
And then he sat out against Jokic. So.
And then he sat out against.
All right.
That's correct.
To piggyback off of Joel Embiid, I guess I was a little tone deaf watching that game because I just remember being on my phone constantly looking up, and I was like, damn. He's not passing the ball at all. And that was
he was gunning for it.
Yeah, that was my initial thought. And then we looked up and was like, he might have 40 at halftime. And so, but my pick is gonna be Luka Doncic. Returning to Atlanta, efficient, 73 points, damn near had a triple-double with it, 10 and 7 to go along with it. And like we always like to talk about, it's against a team that originally drafted him and traded him away for the rights to Trae Young. So we talk about statement games. Him and Trae Young, they have this weird little quiet Cold War rivalry that's not really talked about a lot. So for him to go to Atlanta and do this was very impressive to me. This is going to get my vote.
Yeah, I mean, this game was insane too. And honestly, the best week is Devin Booker. The guy's averaging damn near 50 points. And I would say the PJ Washington,
way to get in there.
He just snuck on that screen, putting up a 40 ball.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying that's.
What if that's Shams' favorite performance of the week? Shams,
There's no way it is.
Who are you most impressed by this past week?
I'm breaking the tie. I'm going with Luka Doncic. Anytime you can have the most points since Kobe Bryant, 81, you have to pick that player. Second player since Kobe Bryant to have multiple 60-point games before turning 25 as well. And like Lou just said, he did it against a team that drafted him. He did it against Trae Young. He did it in Atlanta. They were shorthanded without Kyrie Irving, without Dante Exum in the lineup. And I mean, honestly, just watching that game, compared to Joel Embiid's game, Joel Embiid was shooting a lot down the stretch. Luka Doncic, I think, could have had 80. I think there were moments where he passed the ball up. He was in situations where he could have been fouled, went to the free throw line, but he passed the ball. He's making the right basketball play. There was one play he drove, kicked it out to a teammate multiple times. I just think he could have had 80, but he played the right way, and he took what the defense gave, and the defense wasn't really that present against Dallas.
The defense gave him everything, Shams.
So he could have had the 80.
By the way, if we're talking about gunning, Karl Anthony Towns, Ant said they were trying to get him 100 in the first half.
Yeah, and didn't even score in the first half. He was watching him.
Right. It's hard when you get going like this, though. You want to get your teammate involved. You want them to set a record. And this was the first week of games where I said, like, oh my God, someone could actually get close to 100 points. Like, what are we saying?
I want to see that.
It's ridiculous how all these games were unbelievable.
So let me ask you, because there are always going to be negatives to everything, right? Are there any negatives to having these types of performances? Is it watering anything down for you?
I think for old head basketball players, I think they're watered down because they're giving them the opportunity to shatter all these records. They are getting to the free throw line a lot. Like when you see Joel Embiid getting 25, 27 free throws, that's not fun for a fan experience. But I will say, fans, kids, they like points. They like scoring. When you grow up, when someone asks you how you played, the first question is, how many points did you have? That's what the NBA is entertaining. That's why it's fun. So I think it's great for the league to have this. But yeah, now as a coach, like a Steve Kerr who hates it, how do you coach the defense now? Because these guys are getting so elite at getting to the line, drawing fouls, getting players in foul trouble to where they are forced to be in the bonus and go to the free throw line. So it goes both ways. But yeah, I think it's more entertaining for fans and for NBA people to watch points being scored in high-scoring games.
Yeah, I think Joel 70 was first, and I was like, this is great. And then Katz was next, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like 2 big guys really going at it. And then by the third one, I was like, this looks bad. Yeah. I was like, this looks bad. This is an eyesore because now you're gonna have people complaining about the lack of defense being played. And trust me, guys who are defensive minded in the NBA, they're trying, they're putting out the effort, but the rule stands on the offensive guy's side. We do have to understand we are in the sports entertainment business. Fans love to see a lot of points being scored. It's almost impossible to touch guys now, and they're just rigging. These guys that can score at a high clip, they're just rigging these games up.
Yeah,
but you give a guy like Luka, you give him credit, man. They're making a bunch of shots too.
Yeah, it's not like teams and coaches don't go through training camp and work on their defense and schemes and coverages and stuff. You saw Joel Embiid; he was getting triple teamed at one point. It's
Right.
not like they didn't want him to keep scoring this. They were convinced that, all right, we're either going to foul him or we're going to make someone else do it. But as a coach, it is getting impossible to be able to teach these guys how to defend without giving up this many points, because we already know the three-pointers are going up at a high rate. The pace is played at a faster rate, so naturally there's going to be more points.
What about the idea that Steve Kerr said that changes actually need to be made to defensive positioning? Do you think is that even realistic?
No, because you can't make these players less talented. They're still going to change the rule to something else. They're going to find ways around it to continue to score, to continue to get the whistle called for them. So it doesn't matter, whatever it is. Look at the load management thing. You can control that to a point, right? Guys are still going to find ways to sit out games and miss games and still meet the threshold of being in these awards. So no matter what it is, I do think coaches, it's tough for, but again, I think this is great for the NBA. I think it's great for the fans because people want to see this entertainment.
My only requirement, though, is you have to win the game. You can't have the 62 and.
Oh yeah, we don't celebrate the
No.
we don't celebrate
He
the
was,
loss.
he was probably I don't know if Charlotte
I think
won,
Kat
but
was the only guy.
Two of Devin's were lost.
I don't know if Portland, I'm assuming, lost when he had 40, but like that to me is the least impressive because they lost.
I think Katz was the only one that.
No, I think Devin had a couple.
Well, Devin had a 40. One of those 40s is a loss.
Looking at Devin's week, not one game in particular. Even last night, they
one of
lost
those
to
40s
Orlando.
is a 40 and a loss. We've seen that movie before, but a 60 and an L, that's
tough.
kind of.
And you can almost argue they lost the game going to him, trying to feed him.
They got lost. They got lost in a different type
In the
of
Zals.
game. Yeah.
I like that.